Welcome to Newsmax Now. Congratulations on the new book. First, give us a quick synopsis.
Camp Valor is a book designed for teens, 13 to 18 years old. It's a patriotic look at what it is to be a boy in America and not worry about political correctness. The plot of the book, it's a fiction book, but the plot is that teens that have been in trouble, that may have taken a wrong step during their lives, are given a second chance to go to a camp and then become government agents to work for the United States government. And there's some very good action, some very good scenes of young boys going through some very difficult testing, some very difficult skill sets, and then they put those skill sets to use in defense of the United States. It's a patriotic look at some old books that I used to love when I was a kid, and I wanted to write something for teens that bring the same genre of training and patriotism, say, for example, that we did in American Sniper, which is obviously a true story.
Yeah, and talk to us about why you feel like it's so important in 2018 to write a book like this with a pro-American patriotic feel towards it.
I think that teens nowadays are too focused on the internet. I think they're too focused on games. I think they're too focused on being on their playing their COD or whatever else on the on the TV, instead of being out and learning a skill set of hiking, swimming, physical fitness, sometimes shooting. The other things that we've seen that used to be a generation ago, at least in my generation, were the things that young teens like to do and young men like to do. And unfortunately now we see this more and more becoming politically incorrect, and we don't see that type of behavior, let alone heroism or, a belief in this country. I feel that many times young adult books now are written to more of a PC view, as opposed to a view of people that really like this nation.
You talked about the books you liked to read when you were growing up. I think of Jack London, perhaps, or maybe the Hardy Boys. But tell us about those books that you grew up on that young men today and young boys aren't getting the exposure to.
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think that obviously I love the Hardy Boys series. I love the Jack London stuff. I loved Huck Finn. Huck Finn now, from what I've heard, has been deemed a racist book or something of that nature. Like, you can't even read, Samuel Clemens. You can't read the classics of American literature because somebody said they're no longer PC. And granted, their time period. Granted, there might have been some words used at that time that weren't the same as they are now. That being said, they're still classics of American literature, and unfortunately, these classics and these that have males that are heroes and males that become, if you will, something to be proud of and to go out and actually accomplish something in their lives, are shunned in today's culture because, I unfortunately don't think that we like to see people, succeed in the same ways that we used to as a society. At least the left wouldn't want us to.
There's no shortage of material. I mean, Chris Kyle's a perfect example, American Sniper, but there are many folks just like him. We talked about the fact that you wrote American Sniper with Chris Kyle, and you spent a lot of times, I think you're from San Diego, a lot of time with Navy SEALs and around Navy SEALs. Talk about what this younger generation can learn from Navy SEALs.
Well, it's kind of funny that because this book is really the impetus or the background for the book was watching friends like Chris and other men like him raise their kids with my kids. And so, the skill set of being outside, being in the outdoors, swimming, running, hunting, fishing, all the things that we used to love to do as kids, we still do, some of us do, I should say, with guys like that are in the teens that have kids, boys the same age as mine, things of that nature. And, and that's really what those guys like to do with their kids, and like to keep them off the internet as much as possible. And really the anti-hero in this book, in Camp Valor, is a internet fixture, because so often now we see our kids doing hours, 6 to 8 hours a day. I read some statistic the other day of kids watching videos and or being on the internet. And from my perspective, nothing good comes from that. Right. I mean, very little good comes from being on that, especially when you see the stuff that's coming off the dark web nowadays. It's not a good thing for our kids. And Camp Valor is about getting a skill set outside and enjoying nature and being out and doing something positive for this country.
Scott, I can't wait to check out the new book. It's obviously needed. There's a dearth of books just like this one. As you mentioned, it's called Camp Valor. It's available everywhere. Scott McEwen, thanks so much, and good luck on this new project.
Thank you very much.